Jessie woo, BBS. I just turn the water on. Big old flex. She never saw before. Chasing me like waterfall.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for coming back to Just a Couple Things, y'all. Your favorite podcast hosted by me, your sister, Jessie Woo. Now, before we get into this episode, please make sure that you are subscribed on every platform that streams podcasts. So if you're on Apple, the Apple people, go ahead and find Just a Couple Things, hit follow. If you're on the Spotify people thingy, Spotify podcast, Just a Couple Things, hit follow. And if you're here on YouTube, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment. This is going to be one of them episodes of Just a Couple Things. I'm very, very honored to have our guests for this episode. I have 4 beautiful Black women during Black Women's Month. You know, it's always a Black Women's Month here on my channel, on my podcast. So I have the beautiful Black women that we didn't get to see from Love is Blind season 9. I've got China, marketing manager. I have Kaylin, account executive. I have Ashley, director of compliance. And I have Megan, property manager. Ladies, how are y'all doing?
Doing good.
Good.
I can do the first thing that was spread around wrong and folks around my industry were kind of pissed off about it. I'm not a director of compliance. I'm an athletic director for compliance. I work in higher education. I'm an athletic director that so happens to be in the area of compliance. So a director is like a step and a half, 2 steps down for me. So like we were talking earlier, like I'm at a basketball game because I'm in charge. So that was one of the biggest myths, and people were just like, compliance, she in HR, she finna da-da-da-da-da, I know those people. No. I work in sports and higher education.
Okay, so see, that's one of the things that came up during this season and previous seasons is the job titles. It'd be like, okay, what are these job titles? And now you're saying that's not even your job.
I was a director like 3-4 years ago. I'm up Simone now. I'm a boss lady now.
Period. I know that's right. Okay. Where anybody else?
They messed up mine as well too on the air, but that's totally fine because account executive is correct. But it was also aired as a surgical assistant. Never in my life. But yeah.
Who is doing it? Anybody else want to clear up their job?
I feel like they just put a lot of stuff in.
I don't want to clear up my job, but I do want to clear up the dirty draw statement because I never said that. Never.
Well said.
So what
No, ma'am.
What is going on? And what was that about? Why would they?
Look, I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm like, I did not say anything about dirty clothes, none of that. Dirty laundry, dirty drawers, none of that.
Okay.
I ain't airing that type of laundry out here.
My Lord. Okay, see, it's a lot of things we got to clear up. And anyway, I'm happy I have all of you here. I have so many questions. I want to thank you guys. I've already thanked you guys so many times, but I want to say it again. I feel so honored to get to spend this time with you all, to speak to you all about your experience on the show. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask you how you guys are doing right now as Black women. You see what's happening in the country right now. This year, more than 300,000 Black women were forced out of the workforce. You know, it's just, it seems to be just a really heavy time to be a Black woman. And I just want to ask, how are y'all doing? Are y'all okay? And, you know, are there any ways that as the public, we can make sure that we are supporting each other as Black women?
I would just say, I mean, I think the best way we can support each other is to keep lifting each other up when we see each other down. I've been one of those people that's been very vocal about the fact that Black women are being taken out of the workforce one by one, and it's been very diabolical. And I'm like, is nobody else talking about this? Because this is crazy. But I think in where we are, if you see another Black woman that is looking for work, struggling, please bring your sister up, because if I can hire somebody, I'm looking to hire another Black woman or help a Black woman out. I'm gonna pass her over to one of my friends if they've got work for her. Like, let's help each other out because the climate is crazy and we out here surviving once again. But when have we not? And we always make it work.
So good. Anybody else?
That's facts. I love what you said, China, and I totally agree. I think it is a tough climate right now in the country as a Black woman, but what I have found is seeking support from all kinds of friends, right? Whatever, race, whatever gender, whatever it takes, seek support. Remember who you are, what you're capable of, and don't be down and out, right? Don't get discouraged. I'll tell you, I actually moved out of Denver, Colorado recently to shoot my shot. You know what I'm saying? To put myself out there and not be dragged down, or have that glass wall ceiling, be in play in my life. And so essentially, to just go off of what China said, like help when you can, seek support. That's what I would say. Because it's tough. It's tough out here, especially for Black women.
Yeah. Where are you moving now? Where are you living now, Kaylin?
I moved to Chicago.
My Chi-Town sister now. Hey.
One of the women who actually inspired me to do so was China on the show. We talked about it, and she said to me, I'll never forget, she said, you would love Chicago, and Chicago would love you. And she was right. She was right, my girl.
I love that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can honestly say, all the girls know it's been really hard for me. I'm a part of the federal government. I've been a part of the people that have been furloughed. Me on day 42. We should make it to 43, 45 days before we get everything signed. And as much as I can say, as a government employee, we've been pushed out. We've been trying to be pushed out all year. And it is hard. But also the support system of people. I personally have been networking with people that want to get in the industry, looking for advice to get in the industry, helping people with their resumes and trying to say uplifting them. I'm not hiring, but I know I get asked quite often okay, who else in your field? And I'm trying to sprinkle in as much color as possible because how many Black athletes do we have on everybody's team? A lot. So I'm trying to make our demographic look just like theirs. And as much as we can, we keep pushing them through.
I love that. What say you, Megs?
Yeah, I was gonna say, my sentiments ditto to all of that. I think for me, it hasn't really necessarily shifted or changed in even just this current climate. I think I've kind of always existed in this realm of support my girls, my sisters, everybody. I think more so now it is important to recognize, but I think it's just something that I've always kind of moved in that capacity of supporting, my Black sisters and everyone, African American, whether it's Hispanic, whether, all my Black and brown sisters. So and just my whole community in general. So I think all of that is important. And I think, I don't want to repeat what everyone else said because it was really great.
Oh, I really love that. I love that. Okay, let's dive in and talk about your dating. So is everybody here dating right now? Are you guys single? Are you guys mingling? And if so, when you're mingling, if you had to choose a celebrity to basically compare your dating style to, would it be Nia Long and Love Jones? Would it be Robin Givens and Boomerang? Would it be Sanaa Lathan and Brown Sugar? Or would it be Sanaa Lathan in Love and Basketball?
I definitely think I'm a Love Jones girl. So I'm going to say some Nia Long because I honestly, first of all, it's one of my favorite movies. And I also, it took place in Chicago. So when I look at that movie, I'm like, it gives me all the feels. But obviously, I don't want to live in Disney fairy tale land. So I am not dating right now.
Okay.
I think that's what I was gonna say. I hate to compare it to a movie because we got to get out of that. It's not going to be that way. So I think you'll be disappointed if you're trying to relate it to a fairy tale movie. So I think just, it's real life. And I personally go through ebbs and flows. I'm a Gemini, so it's like phases of dating where I don't date, and then randomly I'm like, hey, I think I might just put myself out there. I haven't used a dating app or anything in a really long time, but just kind of organically trying to meet people, but not putting any pressure on myself to meet anyone specific or anything like that. So just remaining hopeful, I guess. So
Okay.
hopeful and open.
Stay hopeful, girl. You're beautiful. Okay. Both of you are going to find, all of you are going to find great women or men. I will say I'm dating. I'm exploring, right? Being a native in Colorado, grew up, there is not a lot of options in terms of, different ethnicities. The majority of the men that I have experienced in the dating realm have been white guys, right? Great guys, white guys, but that's all I've ever had. And so making a shift, moving out of Colorado is totally different in Chicago. Much bigger pool.
Girl, I was gonna say, girl. I was gonna say.
We got flavor in Chicago, so I'm dating.
Chicago's like Arby's. They got the meats. They got the meat.
That's so good. That's
Can confirm, okay?
They do. If I could compare it to an actor, what I've been looking at is seeing and exploring Michael B. Jordan. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're going for. Also, a lot of Europeans out in Chicago. So, Colorado, if you want to change, okay, you just come to Chicago.
I love it.
I'm out here. I mean, I'm out here. I'm not necessarily. I'm on the app, but like I'm not successful. I'm in Colorado Springs, so I'm just about an hour maybe south of Denver. So the pool is way smaller. Like you think about Denver's pool, and then you go Colorado Springs, and it goes like this, and it's just nothing but like military people, white guys, and yeah, that's it. I'm born and raised in St. Louis though, and went to school at the University of Florida and lived in Texas. So like I'm like, okay, this is just very different. I'm out here. I'm on the app, but I ain't doing nothing with it. So I ain't gonna lie to you. It's there.
Let's talk about the show, right? So what inspired you all to go on the show? What was happening in your dating life at the time that was motivation for you to say, okay, let me do this? And did you guys apply or were you reached out to?
Okay, I'll start. Yeah, really interesting. I had just gotten out of a 4-year relationship, right? So I was completely single, living, exploring new ways to heal, new ways to fall in love, things like that. And I actually got a DM on Instagram from a producer, and it said, hey, weird question, but we're a dating show and we're coming to your town. And my on Instagram, this I think they found me is Colorado K. And I think they were looking for people in Denver and in Colorado. So I was somebody that they found, they reached out to. And, quite frankly, I'd never seen the show. And so when they asked me about Love is Blind, me, my family, we sat down, we watched it. My dad watched like 4 seasons, and the family gave me the green light. And we thought, we were optimistic, maybe you can find love through a wall. Maybe it will work. But I was also a realist, getting engaged after 2 weeks. Damn, that's kind of quick. And without seeing the person, that factors in, So that was my experience, was they had reached out to me. I took a shot. I did it. It was a blast. Didn't work out. But, the Lord was looking out, you know what I'm saying? But that was my experience there.
I honestly had just moved to Colorado Springs maybe a month. I moved to Colorado Springs October, and then I was watching the reunion, and me and my friend, she sent me the casting call on TikTok, and she said, hey, how far are you from Denver? This is the metro area. I'm like, let me Google. I think so. So I was like, yeah. So I honestly just applied on a whim. I didn't reach out to anybody, not thinking that I would get chosen. I honestly was in Denver I was in Colorado Springs for maybe a month before I applied. And then I applied, and a couple weeks later, I kept getting casting calls. I kept getting invited to more things, testing, and they's like, okay, you're on the show. I said, excuse me. So I was shocked, especially because like I just got here. So yeah, I asked my boss, I was like, hey, like if I apply for this show and they accept me just on the whim, like, can I keep my job? Because I just started. Because what I ain't gonna do is fumble a bag.
That's real. That is so real.
I heard people quit their job. I ain't finna fumble a bag is what I'm not gonna do. I just got this good government job. They ain't finna fire me. And he was like, my boss is great. He's like, do you actually will figure it out? I'm like, he's probably thinking, who did I hire? But they not gonna pick her. It got serious and I got to the finalists. I said, yeah, can we go talk to the head of the PR of the Air Force to see if this is okay? He's like, oh, snaps, we're doing this. I'm like, we're doing this. And I talked it over with my family and they were all good with it. So I'm like,
cracking up.
And I honestly went because it was just hopeful. I'm not someone who like dates a lot. I put my career first and kind of like moved around. I'm here for a season, so you're gonna be here for a season and kind of go from that standpoint. I was like, hey, like maybe it can work if they allegedly vet everybody. That's half the battle. So like, let's see what's up and see if we can meet somebody.
I love that. That's because I feel like lately I've been hearing a lot about people being reached out to. So I love that you actually applied and that you were chosen from that. China and Meg.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I don't know if China wants to go first. I was one of those people who applied. I had been single I've still been single at this point, but for like 7 or 8 years, it's been a while. So I guess I think a friend of mine had reached out and said that she saw that they were casting in Denver. So I just kind of on a whim applied or filled out the application one night. And that was like 10 or so months before they actually reached out to me. So I kind of forgot about it. I was like, oh, they clearly didn't pick me or anything. And then randomly got a call and just heard a voicemail. And it was one of the producers. And they were like, oh, we were just wondering if anybody reached out to you yet. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that I applied like almost a year ago. I don't know if this is the right city. Are you guys still doing Denver? Like I figured they'd already filmed it at that point. So yeah. And then just, went through all of the, as Ashley said, went through a bunch of different rounds of interviews and things and screening and all that fun stuff. So, and then, yeah, got the call and, it was literally like they gave us like a 2-week notice to pack our bags. So, or like a week or something. It was really short notice. So, with my job, it was kind of tricky and it wasn't exactly something that was approved, but I took the risk. Yeah, I took a chance. So, and it worked out. I still had my job after I got back. So we had to keep everything pretty like confidential about what we were doing. So I think that was why it was like a risk because they didn't know why I was leaving. And I think I had to like secretly tell my one boss above me to like, hey, this is for Love is Blind. And then she was like really excited. So she had to kind of vouch for me. So yeah, it wasn't easy for all those folks that just think everybody's got the no job. I'm like, no, I had a good career and a day job and I didn't want to leave it. So, but yeah, took the chance.
Well, I mean, I'm like you guys. I actually applied, but it was crazy how that even happened because honestly, so working in, I work I'm a marketing manager for an executive management firm, but I also do makeup. And so in the makeup world, when you're doing makeup, women are always like, are you single, girl? Like, I get asked that question a lot. I'm like, good Lord. And so people were always like, you should go on that show, Love is Blind. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, first of all, I'm too old. And no, I'm just not doing it. Because I'm like, am I that desperate? But like, no, I'm not. But also like it was being said to me so often and it would be actually said to me by strangers, which I thought was really strange too. So I'm like, random people asking me like to go on the show is just weird to me. But a couple people had sent me the application. So like 9 of my friends had sent me the application, 9 different people. And then by the 10th person, which was my friend Lily, shout out to her. I was like, okay, Lord. I thought that was crazy too. So I was like, is this the sign, Lord? I'm like, clearly not. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm like, I guess I'm gonna give it a try. I think this is crazy because personally, I'm like, do I really want to go on this show? I'm not trying to put my life on TV like that. So I'm like, okay, 10th person, maybe God trying to tell me something. So I filled out the application like, it was like literally the end of November going into December. Maybe it was like 2 days left in November. And when I tell y'all, I filled out that application at like 11 p.m. at night, and I filled it out on some, let me just get this done. And it was one of those like, they're not gonna call me, I'm old, okay? And so I woke up, well, I didn't wake up. They woke me up at 7 o'clock the next morning. I was like, who is up at 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. looking at these applications? I thought that was crazy. And so they gave me a call, and next thing you know,
Chelsea
it kind of
was
went
up
fast
late.
after that. Huh?
I said Chelsea was up late that night.
Possibly, okay. I said, what? They up this late? And so it was crazy because it went pretty quickly after that. I'll be honest with you, because it was like next thing you know, it was only a few months and we were heading out.
So let me ask you guys this. Let me ask Megan this. Going into, so you know that you've been chosen for the process. You're about to go on the show. Megan, I want to ask you, what was going through your mind? Because you say that you were single for some time. Were you going into this thinking, okay, I am truly, truly looking to be married by the end of this process? Or were you thinking, if it happens, it happens? And while you were there, did you experience anything that had you feel as though, okay, I actually might be getting married at the end of this?
Yeah, I definitely took it very seriously. I was like, I think it was kind of one of those things when you're single for so long and like you date for so long and you kind of, nothing has been working out. And then something like this type of opportunity comes along, you say to yourself, wow, I think this might be it. Like, if nothing else has worked, this must be a sign from God. They're like, yeah, girl, get in there. You've done it all the other ways. It hasn't worked out. So like, your husband could be at this experiment and at the end of this. So, I laugh at this to this day. I had a whole like list of questions that I brought myself, like little prompt questions that I typed up beforehand. Okay, I'm a type A. Sorry guys. I like to be prepared. But I had a whole list of questions that I wanted to ask my future husband, because I was like thinking like I want to make sure that I have covered all my bases and I don't sometimes I get into situations that I, just my brain runs away from me and I can't think of anything to say, or I can't think of, prompts or, questions to ask. So I wanted to have it all, ready to go in my journal and everything. So when I arrived, I felt like a lot of the other girls, like, I was like, I have questions. And they were all like, wow, girl, you brought like questions. And so I was just like, oh, we're not like doing it like that. So yeah, I was serious. I was truly serious. I was very hopeful. I, went into it, with the best intention and, felt like it was going to work. So, and I think I'm also just such a skeptic that I was still in the back of my head, like, I'm not sure if I can fall in love in this way without meeting someone. But yeah, again, I just said to myself, I haven't tried it. So why not, Megan? Just do it. Like, see what happens.
How were the rest of you feeling going into the process as well? Like, were your feelings like, okay, this is it. This is it. I'm going to get married at the end of this. Yeah. Anybody else could answer this.
I guess I would say for me, it was one of those things where it was very serious. I don't think you can be at the age that I was at and think, let me just go play games. My dating history has been wild, to say the least. I think I'm a very loving, caring, and kind woman. And oftentimes I just don't find that there are very many men that know how to give the reciprocal of what I give. And so it's been a rough road. And for me, I was like, if I go into this, it is very serious for me because my dating history has not been fun, especially since living in Colorado. It's been quite interesting. I don't even really date much here. Most of my dating was like outside of Colorado. So for me, it was like, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be serious. I'm not going in here for play. I'm not a social media influencer, so I don't have any of that to give. I'm not going for that. I'm like, let me see if this works, because nothing has worked. And, you know, because of how it kind of was presented to me, I was like, okay, maybe this is the time.
Okay.
For me, I said that, like, why not try? I moved to Colorado. I got this job because I wanted a better work-life balance. I wanted to be somebody's wife. I want to be someone's mom. And I was like, okay, I'm going in hopeful. But I'm also going to be very realistic and very logical at the same time. I've seen successful marriages. My parents have been married for 35 years. My sister has almost hit the 10-year mark, and my grandparents were married for 60 plus years, and she's been with my grandpa to his dying days. And I've watched how my parents, my sister, my uncles and aunts, like, how they've been with their spouses through great times and through great tragedies and things like that. And I'm like, okay, like, I've been this independent this whole time. I don't want that anymore. So I'm going in wanting someone who can soften and bring that soft side out of me. Because I'm tired of doing this life essentially by myself. But so again, like, I'm like trying to, like, I was 33 when we went into this. I'm not here to play games. Like, we played games back in college. Like, I was at the university.
Hello.
I was at the University of Florida. Like, we played games in college. So, like, why would I want to drag my family into this, not knowing, like, this is something I really want to do? So all of those things were at the forefront of my mind. Like, I have nothing to gain but a spouse, a partner, and everything else to lose.
Oof. That's good.
That was well said. Yeah, that was. I'm right there. I definitely agree, Ashley. That was very eloquently put. You know, for myself going into the show and preparing for the pods, I was extremely optimistic because I'm such a communications girl. It was my major in college. It's what I do in all my relationships. I'm super inquisitive. I love to ask questions, know my people, know if they're happy, know if they're sad. And so the concept of this show made me really excited because I was like, this is right up my alley. You know, if I'm going to fall in love, I'm going to fall in love because me and this man can have some banter and we can be inquisitive and ask questions and get right to it. And to Ashley's point, I've seen great love. I've seen it in my parents. I've seen it in my grandparents. And so my mindset was any opportunity that comes into my life that could potentially bring the man that I'm supposed to be with, I'm going to take it. You know, I'm not, putting all of my hope in, saying if it doesn't work out that I'm going to be lost in a mess and give up on love. It was never like that approach, but hey, I was ready to try and be optimistic. And my experience in the pods showed me that you can develop some pretty deep and fun and fulfilling relationships. And so it was worth it for me. Mm-hmm.
Good. That's really good feedback. Let me ask you guys this question. So you're in the pods and you're now going in and out of these dates. You know, this is Love is Blind. So they want to encourage you to fall in love with someone no matter their background. But as Black women, did you all feel as though your Blackness was detected? And if so, how do you feel that it was received?
That's a good question. I just want to say, Jessie, that was a good question.
Ash, we can't hear you.
Unmute.
Am I muted?
Okay, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. This old man with y'all. My name's Ashley, so extra basic. But as soon as you hear me talk, you know I'm a sister. You know, because everyone was telling me, "Oh, you have a deep accent. You have an accent." I'm like, I haven't lived in St. Louis since I was 18. Like, that accent is watered down. So I was just like, "What accent are y'all talking about?" And now thinking about it, I'm like, no, they just can't hear that I'm Black, and it is what it is. And I think it did play a part. Like, I think some people had the idea of like, oh, maybe this isn't going to be a problem for me, or maybe this isn't something like this, I don't care what the race is. Because, we got to fill out those questionnaires and compatibility stuff. And it says like, okay, what race, like, would you prefer? And when we come on here,
wait, they ask you what race you would prefer in the compatibility questionnaire?
yeah, it's on there. Can I say that? I don't know, but I'm saying it. But they ask you what race you prefer. And I said people of color, period. So they tell you, okay, like, we're bringing you in knowing that there's someone here to match on paper with you. So essentially think of married at first sight, but it's up to you to figure out who your match is.
Wait, that just has my antennas going up because it's Love is Blind. So I'm thinking when you guys are going through this process, they are wanting folks who don't really have a preference for race.
I think,
but maybe I'm wrong.
I think they want somebody in there, that people that are compatible, and they're going to ask you, but based off of, you're going to bring a bunch of people in there. There's somebody in here for you. It's up to you to figure out who that person is and whether you fall in love with the person who we think it should be. But we're not going to play puppet master. We're not going to play puppet master,
right?
And like match you directly with who you think we think you should match with on paper. It's up to you to figure that out. And sometimes, you might match with someone who you're supposed to on paper. We don't know who we were supposed to match with on paper. But they bring the 16 people on each side in knowing, hey, on paper, they should match. So something should work. It's like you can't bring not knowing who's going to work or not. So something should work. So I go in with the mindset of like, hey, what drew me more to wanting to say yes, because there's someone here on paper for me. And I'm okay with somebody arranging something for me. Okay? Like, do the work for me. So I was
bring back arranged marriages. We don't know what
I'll sign up for it.
We don't know what the fuck is going on. Bring it back.
So for me, between that and religion, those were the two things that were just like, we're going to dwindle this list down.
Okay.
I do believe that they could tell who they're talking to across from that wall. And the reason I'll say that is because whenever I will walk in the pod, so when you're going in, you don't really know who's going to be on the other side when you get in there. It's going to be somebody on that list. And whenever I walked in there, it was like, Calabria? I'm like, nah, this is China every time almost. And so I was like, so y'all know it's another black person here because y'all keep saying Calabria. And I'm like, okay.
Oh
so
my
I'm like,
God.
y'all know.
You know what? You guys have similar vocals almost. No?
I feel like she sounds a lot nicer than I do. There's a lot of rasp going on here, okay? I don't know if it's sexy.
So they would often mistake you for her.
Oh, yeah. I got that a lot when I would walk in and I'd say hello and they'd be like, hey, B. I'm like, it's China. But all right.
And do you feel that there were any moments where you might have connected with someone, but maybe you didn't see that person again, and maybe it was because they detected that you were black?
If I'm being completely honest, yes, that went in my mind. Because I'm gonna be real with y'all. I was trying to think of ways to make my voice not sound like this. And I was like, can you pretty it up? Like, yeah, I can. Wow. And so I was like, man, and then it's like, we were up kind of late before, going in the pods for that first day. And I was like, Lord knows, me early in the morning, I sound like somebody's uncle. So I'm like, well, you're really going to struggle a little bit, okay? So I was just trying to clean it up a little bit. But I definitely think that, yeah, I think that people could tell. And I think, that was one factor, at least for me. I don't know if it was like that for everybody, but at least for me, that was one factor that I do believe played a part in people kind of moving on. Because I thought I was having good conversation, and then it's like, I don't see them the next day no more. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow. Megan, I know you have to go soon. Megan got things to do. So before you go, I want to know if you experienced anything similar to that, and if you made any connections with anyone that the audience didn't get to see.
Yes. I didn't really experience I feel like I didn't really notice that the guys could tell like what my ethnicity was. I mean, my name is Megan and I grew up in Ohio in the Midwest, so I don't particularly have a specific sort of accent or anything that would give me away. But I felt like I don't know if this was like the producers, but they were kind of pushing me towards certain connections that I didn't necessarily feel were the most compatible for my personal. I was paired up with Edmund for most of the week, and when we were in the lounge, we tried to keep everything very anonymous on who we were dating.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until after I had gotten back to Denver and everything, and we were, talking with KB and everything, and I realized that she was dating Edmund as well. And I feel somewhat bad about it because I wasn't really feeling a connection with Edmund most of the time, and for whatever reason, he kept showing up in my pods. So, and
but don't you guys get I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but because again, my antennas are going up. I've heard different interviews with different people where I've basically surmised that you can let them know you're not interested in a person, and so you don't see that person anymore. So was that happening with you?
I felt like that was not my experience. I felt like and I did end up with Deo as my top choice, and he was my top choice, but I felt like there were other connections that I didn't get to explore. And then it got down to Edmund and Deo. And I don't really know why. I was telling my producers that I didn't feel a connection with Edmund. I don't know if maybe he felt something more stronger and he wanted to keep dating me. He was saying a lot of things in the pods, notating that he had strong feelings for me, and I was still exploring all of my connections. So, and I think the only thing I'll say about Edmund, it was I was pretty surprised that they didn't show any of that, but, I think the biggest thing with Edmund, I don't have anything against him. I think he's a great person. I think my only issue was he did notate that he didn't have any other connections, like on day 2 or 3 for me. He said that I was his only one, and then he was really trying to love bomb me because of that. I don't know if that's the case, but I just felt like there was a lot of love bombing going on. And then towards the last few days I was there, Deo and I were there until the day before the engagements, and he was also, I think he got to the 6th or 7th day with me. And that's when I just told him I was still exploring other connections. And then he said, well, I already have another connection anyway, so let's just be friends. And I was kind of taken aback because that's not what he said initially. So I don't know what his intention was there, but it was very misleading. And, maybe he was just trying to, see the experiment through. But that was just surprising to me. I don't know what the reason was behind staying with him that long. And even some of the other girls in the lounge were like, well, just keep it going. I tend to be a slow burn type of person. So they're like, keep it going. Maybe you'll never know. Maybe you'll catch feelings for Edmund. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try, but it just never grew for me. And so I do think that it was kind of not really the greatest experiment for me because I wasn't really talking to the people that I felt the strongest connections with all the way through.
So you had folks that you really wanted to see and you were really connecting with, but you still were going into the pod seeing the men that you didn't want to see. Basically.
Pretty much. I mean, let me reiterate, Deo was still someone I wanted to see. So it was kind of like 50-50.
Yeah.
So initially, as we're narrowing down our options, I did feel like a lot of the ones I was, excited about just kind of fizzled really fast. So maybe they weren't feeling me either, and that's fine. But it just felt like I didn't really have a choice in a lot of my connections. So that was a little disappointing for me.
Okay. Yeah. And so I know you have to leave us, but
Oh no,
ultimate.
I'm the one that's got to go.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
it's Kaylin. I was
Kaylin,
like,
you gotta go.
you-
Oh my God. Okay, Kaylin, let me get your answer real quick before you make it out. Okay, so yeah, what was your experience in that aspect?
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, I don't think they knew I was black in the pods. I got often told that they thought I was like a hippie girl, that I was like a yoga girl, or so, I remember the guys were trying to assume, and I was like, you guys, you wait till you see, you know what I'm saying? And in my experience in the pods, I did get the opportunity to kind of see the individuals that I chose to see. I know, like, typically, so every day after you would have a date, you would rank your dates, and then that is kind of how they would determine who's going to continue to see each other and whatnot. And I was grateful. I got down to my two biggest connections, which were Anton and Joe, believe it or not. And I had some pretty great, fulfilling, but different connections with them. And I know that Joe and I were each other's number two, but we agreed we had a better connection. He and I, we actually connected through music and like faith. Faith was a huge topic in the pods. I think for the Denver season, I know all of us girls in this group, we were pretty,
They didn't
we were
show
strong in our
that.
faith. Yeah, they didn't shut, girl. Well, I had some great conversations about the Lord. I brought the Bible in the pod. Okay, we read from the Bible together in the day, and it didn't get showed, unfortunately. But yeah, so me and Joey
So
like came to
weird that we
terms.
didn't get to see that.
I agree. I mean, I'm sure, and I speak for all of us. I mean, we had some pretty damn good quality dates that were really deep and dug into history and faith and testimonies and pain and unfortunately, and I don't know about the girls here, but I didn't cry. I didn't show, any emotion, and I wonder if that's the reason why. I don't know. I mean, I had really healthy conversations and I had really healthy relationships. And I thought that they would give air to that to show that there is some normalcy inside of these pods and some really good people, right? I dated Jensen. He was awesome. They didn't show him. That man was the best. I might have cried when I sent him home. Anyways, but then when I got down with it with Anton, I'll tell you, they give you topics per date. And of course, the last topic, the 4-hour date, when you really like somebody, is politics. Yes, ma'am. And I got down to my best connection, and we could not see it through because he essentially told me that I had to vote like him, and that if I didn't, that it would cancel out his vote. And his vote would cancel out my vote. And so it wouldn't matter how we, whatever. And I said, well, I grew up in a household where I watched two individuals make their own decisions. And I saw my mom and dad vote the same, different, don't matter, but they could do what they want. And I wasn't going to back down from that. And I was really, really shocked. But I think as a black woman, it came out there. Okay. I said, I am not submissive. I want to vote. Okay.
Now, wait a minute, Kayla. Now, hold on. Who was this and what was the vote?
Yeah. Can you guess? No, it was actually Anton. Anton and I, we did also build a connection based off of faith and based off of, traditional values and things like that. And then we got to politics and he said, I'm going to vote this way and you have to vote the same way as my woman. And I said, the fuck? I am not going to vote. I'm not going to vote that way. I'm going to vote how I want to vote, period. And I think that
Anton, why am I not shocked?
They need, women that will, do that, but not this woman. Okay.
No. And not in this time, not during these social economic times.
With that motherfucker in office. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh my God, this is so I'm so disgusted. I'm so disgusted. But you know what? I'm not shocked. It's just it's so it makes you furious when you just think about everything that's happening right now. And also it makes you furious when you think about the way he was treated on the show as well. And but then okay. So ultimately, let me ask you this, because I know you got to leave, sister. When did you learn that your story wasn't getting aired, and how did that make you feel? Because all of you put your cast photo up. I'm sure your friends, your family, they leaving comments. Yeah, girl, we can't watch
Everybody.
it.
That's
My
right.
family don't love it. Boo.
Right.
And then we watch it, and girl, what's
Girls. Thank you. I mean, I was there the whole time. I took off 2.5 weeks. I mean, I didn't have my phone, right? So I experienced this whole thing through and through. I put all of myself into it. And I had no idea, you know, they really don't tell us. The thing that they do is they make sure that we all get the same amount of info, the same amount of access to pictures, that we all are on the same page, but they don't give any insight into like, or at least maybe they did with the ones who had more of a storyline in there, but I really had no idea. So when the show aired, I texted my homies, some of the girls in the chat, and I'm like, how is it? Am I on it? And they're like, you know, not really. There's a few snippets of you here and there. And I won't lie, in the beginning, I was a little bummed because I put my best self forward.
Yeah.
And I gave these guys, you know, real moments of, you know, discovery, clarity, relationship building. And it was some good conversations. And so I was really bummed because I thought, wow, you know, I thought I would have wanted it to be shown. But then in retrospect, I kind of thought about it and I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's the Lord looking out. He gave me this great experience and I didn't have to go through the ramifications and the repercussions of the public eye, because there are people, trolls out there that just really are awful to some of the individuals that did get their story, you know, displayed. And often what we saw was not the big picture. And so instead of looking at it as like, oh, I'm bummed out, I didn't get my minute on air, I'm trying to see it as, you know what? God's looking out. It's the way it's supposed to be. I got the experience. And I didn't have to go through any of that bullshit. So.
You know what? You are a Pisces down.
Girl, thank you.
You're a Pisces, because I looked up you guys' signs too, and the more you talk, I'm like, yeah. She's a Pisces.
You
for
feel
real.
that? You feel that?
Yeah. Both of my parents are Pisces. I'm a Cancer. Both of my parents are Pisces, and you're giving me definitely Pisces.
Nice.
Pisces down.
Right on.
Well, I mean, I know you have to leave us. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you,
so
Jessie,
much, Kay, for spending time with us. Before you leave, please let everybody know your Instagram, where we can follow you and how we can support you.
Right on. Jessie, girl, thank you for giving us this platform and bringing us all back together. I miss all of you ladies. It's good to chat. If you want to follow me, my @ is Colorado Kayyyy. And I also moved to Chicago, so I made another @ and it's @Kaylin.move. So I'm documenting, I'm vlogging. Maybe I'll show some of the dating, you know what I'm saying? So thank you again, Jessie. I'm going to hop off, but wishing you ladies the best. Happy holidays.
Oh, happy holidays, Kay.
Love you, girl.
So much.
Love you, girls. Okay,
much.
thank you so much. See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, I mean, I have the same question for all of you ladies as well. Ashley, going into the pods, did you feel as, oh, you know what? I actually did ask you, wait, I'm getting lost. What was the question that I asked? What did I ask Megan? I asked Megan.
Just about my connections in the
Yes, your connection. So Ashley, when you were in the pods, did you make any connections that the audience would have been surprised to know about? And were there any moments where you felt like, oh, I'm about to get married?
No, there were no moments that I felt like I was going to get married. I kind of know this. Megan knows this. Like, I think on day 3 or day 4, I wrote in my journal, if anybody proposes to me, I'm going to say no.
Well, damn. Well, what was going on?
Well, I felt like I didn't have any meaningful connections. Like, I was rocking with Edmund for a while, so I had all of my days with him. And the first day, we honestly just connected on just like family and all that stuff, like, hey, like being competitive. We were both athletes in college. All those things we talked about that. Anton for a couple days. But I went in, my mindset was like, okay, like, can I have the conversations with people the first day? Can they lead the conversations? Because I'm known to be like super like, all right, cool, let's get to the point. Like, if this is not meaningful, you're wasting my time. And I'm trying to like back down from that. And so I was trying to let people lead and bring that soft side out. I feel like, and part of it could have been me as well, was like not giving a lot, but I felt like knowing about my family, those are the most precious things to me, and knowing more about me is a privilege. So I don't just spill all my guts out immediately. It's probably not fair to spoon feed people information and seeing what they're going to take with it. But I've experienced in a pot of like, hey, okay, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to share more information. And then the next day it's taken and weaponized against me. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. Cool. Like, if this is what we're finna do, we coming in and we're going to cut up. That's what y'all want me to do. We're going to do that. I honestly, and I wasn't there the full time either. So I got sent home day 5. And honestly, that same, was it day 5, 4, 5, 6? What day did we reach on?
I don't even remember.
We were there about a week and a half.
Yeah, we were there about a week and a half. And I remember I said like, okay, like I'm going to ask to go home, but I wanted to finish the dates for that day. Cause you know, when you date, your conversations are left open-ended. And there were things I wanted to close up, not necessarily tell them I was leaving, but I did not like how the conversation ended. So I wanted to go back and address the situation because I didn't get to finish addressing what I needed to. And then I was going to ask to go home. I was like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to cut up, I'm going to close, I need to close, I'm going to bake some cookies, and then I'm going to ask to go home. Like that was what I was going to do. But before we even started,
what kind of cookies were they, Ashley?
Girl, they was ended up going to be some Oreo chocolate chip. They one of my specialties. I send them out for Christmas gifts every year to my friends. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna bake some cookies, and then I'm gonna go home. And I was noticing like me and the pods and being warm and homey and just nice and sincere. Like, and even in my interviews, that same sincerity was not brought out in the pods either. So like, I remember one of my dates, they were just like, well, you're not being positive. I'm like, excuse me? I'm not being positive. And taking like me being realistic is not being positive. I'm just like, no. I'm a realist at the same time. Realistically, X, Y, Z, and that's equate to like that's not you being positive. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And when I see like, okay, like this isn't like it wasn't meaningful. It was becoming a game for me. What do I need to do? What do I need to say next to continue to stay here? And
oh wow,
I'm not saying people were pick me people, but I'm not gonna say you're gonna pick me. You're gonna pick me. I'm not gonna be here just to be seen on TV. I could care less to be seen on TV. I personally was okay with getting engaged and they not even following me. I was hoping that would be my story. Like, don't even you don't gotta see me. I wasn't there for the TV.
That has happened several times before. I think this is the first season where nobody got married. But I feel like this is the first season where nobody got engaged and wasn't seen either.
Yeah, I was okay. I said that can be me. Like I lived that part of my life private anyway. So I went in. I remember like day 2, I brought up like values and religion and church and Jesus. And when I tell you that line got dwindled down, I think we went from like 16 dates to 8 dates or something like that. I went to 6 or 8 dates.
What's going on in Colorado that the people don't like the Lord? They don't like the Lord?
Jessie,
they don't believe in God?
I came out and I was at 3 to 4. Cause I was like, okay, like, they's like, okay, I love Jesus. I'm like, okay, well, what does that relationship look like to you? And they just like, I pray over my food. I thank him for what I have. And I'm over like, do we go to, like, I don't know. Like, I was just like, what does that relationship look like? And I remember like I was so sensitive and so in tune to my discernment at the same time. I might not have listened the whole time, but I was so in tune with it because I prayed and I fast, and along with working out a lot, going into this, like I took it serious. And I was like, oh, like, we gotta go to church like every Sunday. How often you go to church? Like, I go to church like every Sunday. Yeah, I don't know if I can commit. I can't commit to that. I was like, oh, okay. Or hey, like, I'd rather go to the Broncos game, which is completely fine. You can always want to go. But again, like, I work in sports and I see a football field every Saturday. I'm not looking at one on Sunday unless one of my babies out there playing. I ain't doing
Period.
That. But some of it is me, like, I probably wasn't soft enough, or like I did not bring a lot of other things out too that they got to experience. I know when we got out, they were super surprised. Was like, oh, this is you. One, that I'm as short as I am. We probably the same height, Jessie. And two,
How tall are you?
I'm only 5'2", burly,
Me
on a
too.
good day.
Me too.
So yeah, one, I'm sure. Two, they're just like, oh crap, like you are actually, and like realizing they look at my Instagram, they're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Let me say this. Your Love is Blind picture, they tried you. I feel like sometimes they capture people very weirdly because I'm like, this is not
They
it.
give you like no direction at all. Like you're just kind of standing there and they just start snapping and you're just like,
That's-
oh, like we're doing this?
And
Like,
yeah.
okay.
I'm not the best with posing or anything either. So I'm like, I'm just trying. Like, this is the best I can got. Like, at least my face card is T.
Period.
So but yeah, no, I didn't go in. Like, I got to the point where I knew, like, I'm not going to play this game and I'm not going to just do this just to be doing this. So I knew I wanted to leave. They asked me to leave before I was going to ask, but it was going to happen the same day.
Oh, wow. Let me ask you this, because you said you were with Edmund for a minute too. Were you asking for Edmund or were you seeking other people?
I was like, okay, if this is all I got, like, let me try. So yeah, I did. He was ranked pretty like high in mine. And I remember like after we all met up at like the volleyball event, and you're just like, oh, I really actually liked you. I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm really big with that too. I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't try and whatever. But
were you having good discussions? Because I think as a viewer, I'm kind of surprised to hear like you and Megan say. I mean, Megan said she wasn't asking for Evan, but she was speaking to him often. And then I know you were speaking to him often. How were those conversations? Because as a viewer, I'm just like, were they editing him? Were they editing him wrong? Like, were they editing him in a way to make him look dumb? Because I just was like, okay, this man is he's not speaking in complete sentences a lot of the times.
He has a bad habit of cutting people off. Like, that's something that happens a lot. So like when KB was just like, stop cutting me off, and everyone's like, we don't see it. I'm like, no, it's really bad. Like,
yeah,
we didn't see it, but
I would agree with that.
Really bad with cutting people off. Because like when he has a thought, he wants to say it. Like, oh yeah, but he would apologize. Oh, thank you for sharing, but da 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 da. And I think I snapped maybe one time of like, you don't listen because you keep like bring it up something else. I think one of the conversations was like, I want to. I think he was just trying to make excuses and reasons to like move on. Like, you could just say you don't want me, and I'll just leave. I did that with Anton. Anton was like, hey, I have other meaningful connections. He knew early on he wanted Kaylin and Allie, and he said, yeah, like I think we're good. I was like, all right, bye. Because I think the girls knew, like, once people was done with me and they didn't want to date me, I left. I'm not going to stay in this date for what? Like, you don't want me, so I'm gone. But with Edmund, yeah, I think he got the edit that he should have got, probably. I don't know. Again, I spent a week and a half with him, and when he gets excited and when he talks a lot and fast, like he stutters, and you didn't see that a lot either. So like, I'm like, okay, well, he gathered his thoughts and he gathered his speech. He didn't cry in the pause with me. I also don't give people reasons to cry. I'm not warm and fuzzy very well. So like, that's probably a reason why you did not see cry. He didn't cry with me, but I did get to a point. I was like, dang, this is it. These are really my options.
Wow.
This ain't it for me.
Your options were not great at all.
Yeah, I remember Michael. I was like, oh, I like Michael. I can rock with Michael. We have the same similar background. We have this in common. We grew up similar. And I didn't even make it out of day one with him. I said, well, hell, like, here we go.
Wait, so you connected with Michael?
We all date each other the first date. And I remember like, oh, cool. And they were like, who are you looking for the production? And it was like, who are you looking forward to talking to? I was like, oh, Michael, like, he's great age range. Like, we have the same similar backgrounds and values. Like, there shouldn't be much different. Like, we just heat it up. And I didn't even see him day two. I said, dang, I couldn't even make top 8. That's what we on. Cool. I joke about it now. It was like, and when I seen the fantasy stuff that they were putting out, and I think me and China was matched with him a lot.
Yes.
My friends were like, oh, I can see you with Michael. I said, little do y'all know, y'all, I didn't even make top 8.
Jeez.
And he's cool. We have a solid friendship ish, I guess, whatever it is. It's straight because like everyone's not your friend.
Wait, what's going on? Wait. Okay, so did you and Michael see each other post the show?
The same place everybody else seen them, the group hangouts. That's it. Like we will comment on stuff on social media back and forth or whatever. It's usually me selling him out about trying to look light skinned in pictures.
Okay.
But other than that, like it's literally just Kiki and catching up like brother and sister. But yeah, I didn't have anything remotely romantic or anything with anybody after the show. It literally was like, oh, Ashley's the same person on the show, in the pods, out of the pods, and she has a cool job. Like that's me. And that's the same thing everybody else say. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay. Megan, because I'm going to get to you, China. Megan, you seem to be co-signing a lot of the things that Ashley was saying.
I actually didn't go on a lot of dates with Michael. I didn't really I felt like a little bit of a performative energy from him, so I didn't really rank him very high initially.
What do you mean by that?
And then just like some of the things he was saying on our pod dates, it just felt like he was like auditioning for something. I don't know. It didn't feel like we were having an organic conversation. So he wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. I was looking for deep, conversation, deep connection, like just connect, finding like common ground on certain topics. And we just weren't really there. I'd say, and then to her point with Edmund, he is pretty much, as animated as he was shown in the show. And I think for me, he talked very quickly and he would talk over. And so that's where I felt like I wasn't really in connecting with him. And I was pretty surprised to watch it back, like to watch his conversations with KB and, him crying and things like that. Like I never got to that point with Edmund. So it was definitely surprising to see him, kind of be that way and not share that with me in the pod. So that's kind of my experience with it.
That's very interesting. China, did you date Edmund too?
Yeah. Sure did.
What were your connections? What connections did you make in the pods that would, surprise the audience?
Yeah. I don't know if it would be surprising, but yes, Edmund was in my pods unbeknownst to me because I said, how did you get back in here? But I'm just confused. I was like, are you here again? So I decided that maybe being a counselor for him would be a great idea. So I was writing it down. So how does that make you feel? That's kind of how that went. But anyway.
Wait, were you asking wait.
I was not asking to see Edmund. Not at all.
Why were you
he was the last person on my list.
Megan? It's kind of the same thing with Megan then. You weren't asking for him, but he kept coming in.
Yeah, he was last on my list. It was like absolutely not. Yet every day, hey, Edmund. Okay. So,
So who are you asking for?
So the top person that I had the entire time was Michael. He was number one on my list. I also love me some Joe. Had Joe in there. Joe is a character. That's my guy, though. And I also had Jordan on there. And then Rohan was on my list as well. But Rohan was kind of like in the middle, but they kept pushing him up. But me and him had really great conversation as well.
Okay.
But my top ones were Michael. The first day I had some other people on there in the top, and they just never showed up again. But it was Michael, Jordan, Joe, and I want to say Logan was in there as well, and then Rohan.
So going back just briefly to Edmund, why was it absolutely not for you? And are do you co-sign what the ladies are saying about basically how we saw him on screen is accurate?
There's some accuracy there, but I've had other encounters with Edmund where they weren't there because KB and we hung out a couple times, and even at their place. I do think there's an aspect of Edmund, and here's the thing. I don't have nothing against Edmund. I think he showed that there was a lot of trauma in his life, and it was on display for us to see. And, you know, they showed his trauma and kind of negated Calabria's trauma because she's had her own. But I think we saw his because it was like, let's give this sympathy to this black man who's, you know, and let's forget what's going on with her. So yeah, they showed a lot of him doing what he does. And I think a lot of that was like the camera's on, so I gotta be on, you know, because I've seen him not be on. So that's what I'll say to that. Nice person, but I do think there was some camera and action.
Oh, really? Okay.
I do think there was some of that.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. Some of that is very like what you see is very much he acts like that, but he does know how to not be like that as well. So if that makes any sense, he knows how to be like here having Evan is a smart guy. He's not dumb by any means. He's not, you know, confused about life, but there's an aspect to him where and that performative may be because I need attention because maybe I just didn't get what I was supposed to get at a young age. And so now I got to get it how I can get it. And even if that means to somebody else's detriment.
Brief question for all the ladies. Did you guys know that Edmund was eating his boogers?
I think you could take a wild guess. I'm just saying.
I did not, but I'm not surprised.
Absolutely not.
Ooh.
I mean, after a
Based
while,
on like how goofy and just animated he was in the pods, I'm not surprised. That's all I can say.
Okay, so China, I interviewed Dio and Michael did have a lot to say about you. He said that you guys did definitely connect, and that post the show you did briefly date, but that he messed things up with you. I will say this. Megan made a comment that kind of reminds me of what I was seeing in the comment section. A lot of the girlies were kind of saying the same thing that Megan was saying, about just there being a little bit of a performative aspect there. Talk to me about your connection with Michael and what went wrong.
Yeah. And Michael knows me. You know I'm going to keep it all the way real. I am from Chicago, so you're not going to get no half-stepping over here.
He did say that.
But, yeah. So, you know, while me and him, we have, that's like the cuzzo now. But I think for me, I would have liked to have seen Michael be a little bit more real with what he was saying and what he was speaking about. Because for me, when you say that your top two connections were KB and Annie, and KB's trying to figure out like, oh, word, like she, we're like, really?
KB came into my comments and she was like, this is weird. And I'm like, well, what is she talking about? Because he said it was KB and Annie that were his top.
Right. And so here's the thing about Michael. Love you, my guy. But here's the thing. With him, there's some honesty wrapped in there. So you got to find the math. And so when the math is not, you got to carry the one. And if you didn't carry the one, you might have missed it. I'm going to be real, but you might have missed it. Because quite frankly, when he said that, you asked him what happened to KB, he said China happened to KB. And then what happened to China? Annie happened to China. I said, is that right? And then it was like, what happened to Annie? It was like, you ended up with two other people that weren't Annie at the end, and me and KB, and then where's Annie? Okay. So I'll tell you the truth. I don't believe I was in Michael's top. Not at all. And he and I had a conversation afterwards, okay? So when we got a chance to meet, I'll just say this. Like I said, maybe he was just in the moment of craziness. But I think you have a responsibility as a grown man to not be that lost in what just happened, to be real with me. And I didn't get a lot of that. It was love bombing the day I met him in person. Lots of it. That lasted for about a day. And then, I asked him a very real question because we went to this meetup, everybody met, and then we had another meetup at my brother's place that I had planned because he has a restaurant. And so we had a meetup there. And so I asked him a real question. I said, Michael, do you feel the same way that you felt just the other night? Because you can feel when somebody's not
Yeah.
being all the way right with you. There were certain things when we talked, I asked him what my last name was. He didn't remember that. I asked him what my nickname was that my grandma called me, that my granny called me. He didn't remember that. So I said, but you really want us to try to be together. So I was like, do you feel the same way? And, you know, the things that were said to me, I think he could have presented it in a better way. I think, and he has apologized since, but I also think, you know, when you talk to people and we were all in this very heightened moment. And for me, in the pod, Michael felt like a best friend to me. There were things that were definitely like flags. I said, you know, we got to talk about that. But I felt like we had a lot in common and we could laugh. And I was like, maybe there's a possibility that somebody could actually be my best friend and somebody that I'm romantically with, because I've never had that before.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when we get out and you tell me, you know, in the pods, I was the only person that cared about you. When we got out the pods and you had an opportunity to be real with me, you didn't care about how you presented the information that you presented to me. I asked you about where I was and how you felt. And you said, you know, me and so-and-so connected about business. It's like, okay. And then me and this person connected about business as well. And then me and this person, we connected because our parents been together for X amount of years. Her parents are counselors. And I said, well, that's how I know you weren't listening to me. My parents have been married for 47 years together, 50, grandparents 60, and my parents are marriage counselors. So were you listening to anything? Were you listening to anything I was saying? And so right after he tells me that what he connected on those three women with, he literally goes, you know, I was considering marrying this person. I was considering marrying that person. And I was considering marrying the third person. I wasn't considering marrying you. Okay. That's real. But you should have said that night one when you were love bombing me. That's when you should have been real with me.
What's going on?
And so that's why I said, huh?
What's going on with Michael? And see, I asked him, I said, what is the problem? He did take accountability. Like he took ownership for everything not working out with you. What he said was he wanted his cake and he wanted to eat it too, which I didn't understand because
that didn't have nothing to do with me, because I'm like, please clarify, because I wasn't giving you cake. You wasn't getting no cake from me. We wasn't eating cake. We wasn't having cake. We wasn't baking cake. We wasn't nothing with cake.
No cookies from Ashley. You wasn't getting
you wasn't getting cookies from Ashley. None of that was going down. So I was like, please be clear about the cake, because I think what he said he wanted his cake and eat it too. He wanted those women. And KB was not in that lineup of the women that he spoke about. And he was. And then there were other two. But yeah, I wasn't on that list of people.
His connections were non-Black women, basically.
And here's the thing. I don't fault him. I'm not mad at him about that. I have realized now in life, like, you're going to meet Black men who just aren't on that page. And a lot of that is some identity crisis stuff. And there's some traumas there. So I'm not mad at anybody that decides to go that route. If that's what you like, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you like, that's what you want, do that. But I think you need to be real about that, and don't come in my face and make it seem like, oh yeah, I was definitely trying to get at you, because you really weren't. I wasn't somebody you were considering. And I was considering you, you weren't considering me. And so to come out and love bomb me after I thought that, you know, I didn't have closure. I was gone. I was like, oh, the top connection that I thought we was like locked in, we were clearly not. And so it was like, man, you don't get any clarity. And then you come out and this person is like, oh yeah, I was wanting you. I was like, were you? Where'd this come from? Because and it was one of those things like, because you saw me, because I wanted somebody to get to know me for me, not because of what they saw. And even you saying it wasn't enough, because that's not what you wanted. And I think Michael's apology is really based around the fact that he's sorry. He's always like, you know, I'm sorry. I obviously, you know, I didn't, you know, get with you, but you don't need to be sorry about not getting with me. No. You did not want me. Yeah. And that is okay.
Yeah. And that's fine. Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I have a question for all three of you. So you guys experience all this. And just like I asked Kaylin earlier, you all put your pictures up. People are in your comment section. I know your friends and family are excited. The show airs. What is going through your minds when you realize my story is not being shown?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was shocked that you seen as much as me as you did, because I left I filmed the first week in the pods and that was it. So for me to introduce Nick and for me to have the one date with telling Dylan that probably he's going to watch 2 TV shows and Kiki it with China and KB, which happened a lot. But so for my 3 one-liners and 1 eye roll and 2 side eyes, like I was actually shocked. But that was even shown because again, like my family were just like, "You're shown that much? Didn't you leave?" I said, "I did. Like I don't know why they're showing me." And literally, like us walking down the hallway in the pies and someone's yelling, like they use my voice so much, and I was very shocked. So, let's go. These are my outer monologues, my outtakes. All of that was used, and I'm just like, really? This is gonna be. I was like, this is a recipe for a bad season. And I talked about that like during like leading up to the show. I was like, if y'all see me, this season is going to be bad because I was gone so quick. And I feel like the way that they portrayed Megan and Kaylin, I feel like that should have been me because I really didn't have a storyline to play at that point. Unless you wanted to see me in the pause with like Edmund or Anton or like I don't know. I really didn't have any meaningful dates after day 3. So I was like, why are y'all showing me and using my voice?
Well, I'm kind of confused by the fact that we didn't see you guys with Edmund. The way they showed Edmund too was he was just with KB. So talking to all of you guys and, figuring out that several of you guys spent a lot of time with him, I thought that was weird that wasn't shown. I mean, we got to see I can't remember her name. I think her name was Anna. She left pretty early on, as it seemed, right? She probably left around the time you left, Ashley.
I think she left a day after us.
Yeah.
So day after, yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was shown so much, but we didn't see y'all, I thought I feel that that's kind of weird.
Yeah. When
they showed Blake. They showed Blake. He left.
Yeah, Blake.
Yeah.
Left
I know they showed Blake. And for me, it's definitely as someone who got pretty far in the whole experience of the pods, at least, like I had mixed emotions because I was pretty anxious about what they were going to show, but then, to not even, I don't think they showed me at all. Like I didn't get even like a pod date.
Glimpse. Yeah. Like a quick glimpse of you.
Yeah. Like I was like in the lounge. And then to see like I love Anna, I love Blake, but I just feel like it was kind of felt a little unfair to be like, wow, you mean to tell me I could have just left after 3 days or 4 days and then I would have had a little bit of a spotlight for a second, or like even getting invited to the reunion and stuff. Like that was pretty bizarre. I had talked about it with Deo as well. And by the way, I want to say Deo told me his name was pronounced Deo. He said Deo. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody's like, girl, you're saying his name was
Dio? He said it could be either or. I thought it would be Dio.
He said either or. So I just wanted to make that clear in case somebody in the comments is like, girl, he said it's Dio. I mean, he said to me, hello, this is Deo, like in the pod. So just like that. No, I'm kidding. But no, yeah, it was funny when we talked later and, we met up at a meetup and Deo and I were talking. We're just like, man, that was like crazy that they didn't show us at all. Like, so that, my friends were all pretty disappointed and family and everything. And they're like, wow, we kind of thought, I mean, we knew you didn't you didn't go all the way and you didn't go to the altar or anything, but it was just kind of strange to feel like they were like, okay, we are cutting their story completely. And even just the interactions I had with Edmund, even I thought they might even show that, but it was like it never happened. So that is pretty interesting to me. I don't know what that means, but it's just definitely disappointing a little bit. So
yeah. What about you, China?
Definitely thought they would have showed Megan and Kaylin more. For me, I mean, I thought maybe they would show, because of the friendships that we had, I thought they would show some of those interactions. And my pod dates were very good. I mean, there were some, like she said, this was one of those moments where I went in and I was like, I want to be as open as possible because, it's been hard for me to feel that way with the history of dating that I've had. So I went in there trying to be open and I feel like I was, and I gave, what I could give of myself. But honestly, They didn't show any of that. So, and that's okay. Like I said, it is what it is. For me, I wasn't there necessarily for that purpose. I was there in hopes to maybe meet somebody. I also knew it was TV, but I was like, if something comes out of this, then that would be great, because obviously dating has not been easy for me.
Post the show.
It definitely makes you, it definitely makes you wonder if like they were potentially wanting the like ghosters, like the people that they showed that left early and those types of things. Like that's where I'm a little disheartened, because I did go into it like it's, as China said, like I wanted to find my person, I wanted to find my husband, and I thought that that's what the premise of the show was supposed to be about. But seeing how it played out made me like question all of that. So that's the part that's disappointing, is to feel like, wow, is this even about love anymore? Or is this just about the drama? So
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you just hit it on you hit it on the nail with that question. I think that question answers itself, that especially with this season, I think it was mostly about the drama. And, unfortunately there are people like yourselves who were truly, truly looking for love. I wonder how this experience, like going through this experience, being in the pods, having such a concentrated time where you dedicate so much to finding your person, how that has affected you in your dating life post the show.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The way I went in was kind of how I go into most relationships. I try to start off, giving somebody a clean slate. I don't want to go in with whatever, even myself, like don't go in with all that mess that wasn't right. This is somebody new. Give them a clean slate and go in with, an open heart. And so that's kind of how I've always tried to be going into things. I will say after the fact, it does it hits you in the gut a little bit, at least for me, because I was constantly getting knocked down pretty fast because of my age. And so I was like, dang, that kind of sucks. Like, I'm already old enough, but like,
why do you keep saying you're old, China?
Because, girl, the way they was knocking me down, like, oh, I literally had them say, oh, I learned how old you are. I was like, all right.
Who said that?
And I'm obviously, I don't feel like I'm old.
You were getting that?
Oh, yeah. I got knocked down. In the pods. Yeah, they were like, somebody else is here for you. It was like, they were pretty much letting me know you got two options. There's a 39-year-old here and a 37-year-old. Go for the goal. That type of party. So, yeah. And I don't necessarily, I don't feel like I'm old. Obviously, I'm getting older, but I'm not old.
You're not old. You look good. Like, have a career. Like, I'm not understanding. Okay. Do you feel that like in your regular dating life, do you feel like your age is as big as a factor as it was in the pods?
Weirdly enough, I'm trying not to do this no more. I feel like I honestly get approached by guys that are much younger than me, which I don't always love that. I mean, but it's always somebody in their late 20s.
Look at the way you look. You look like a doll. Yeah,
thank you, Jessie. I appreciate that.
I just don't want you.
American Girl Dom.
Yeah, like please, like I really don't want you going around saying that. Like you're not old. Like you're not old. Yeah. Like you're still young. You look great. Like love happens at any time, and
it does.
Yeah, it happens.
I think that's just my own little hang up, because I have other factors with being older and thinking about children, and I have endometriosis, so that plays into me thinking about those type of things when it comes to me having a family. So when I say old, I'm just saying older. I'm not old, but it is one of those things. I hate thinking like that. It's like, nobody should have to think like that. And honestly, if I didn't have endometriosis, I don't think I would be thinking like that all the time. But it's one of those things that's always on my mind, because it does get a little more interesting as you get older, that particular issue that I have. So
you're going to be a mom. You're going to be a great mom.
I appreciate you saying that.
Not only are you going to be a mom, you're going to be a great mom. I believe that for you. And I speak that. And I want you to speak that over yourself. Listen, speak that over yourself. Like, I don't care. You are a mom. You're going to be a great mother. So that's what I'm believing for you. Period.
Appreciate that.
Period.
Thank you.
Ashley, how do you feel like this affected? I feel like with you, you're just still like, hey, I'm just still gonna do me.
um, well, for the show, like it was the reality of like it's an ego check, it's a gut check. Is in reality, you got dumped by 16 people within 7 days. That's essentially what happened. You went
Oh
on
my
all
God,
these dates.
you have a way with words, girl. Oh my God. You have a way with words. Like your words be sticky. I never thought of it that way. Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
And that's the reality of like working it through with my therapist. Is like, okay, what is the facts? What is the reality of things? Like, and I have to work on bringing more emotions to my words. Like those are the things that like hung up on relationships and stuff in the past. But the reality was like, you got dumped 16 times within a week. That is a huge hit to your ego. And it did bruise my ego. And I'm just like, I remember talking with China when we left. I'm like, what else could have shared? Like, could I share this family tradition? Could I have done these things different? Like, all of those what ifs came and we sat there and be like, it doesn't matter what I would have shared. The outcome would have remained the same. And
Absolutely.
knowing that no matter what I could have done differently or what I could have said differently, my outcome would have been the same. So like I walked out, yes, your ego's bruised, yes, you're bruised a little bit, but it could have been worse. Like you could have gotten a little farther, you could have been sitting, and there's no knock to anybody. Like I didn't have to sit in a wedding dress and drag my family through this and then just be crushed and broken heart. Like my family, similar to like China's like my parents from Chicago, my parents from St. Louis, like they don't play that. Like they over here already online when the show got released, actually don't have the whole block out here. And I'm like, I'm not. Guys, remember, like I'm on my best behavior. So like that was a huge hit, but also it's like I could do anything. Like I did this whole reality show. I put myself out there. People seen this, like, or they seen like, oh, like she might be a little uptight. She has one-liners. She rolls her eyes a lot. Like whatever. Like it's fine. It's out there. I did it. Like I don't care. I care, but like. What like I can do anything else. Like you can get on the apps, you can go on the dates, you can go see the peoples, you can talk to the peoples. So like you literally have nothing to lose. And I went on here just being a hopeless romantic and just like, hey, like I'm gonna find my person. I'm like, okay, actually, like let's be honest, us as women, like we have body clocks that are ticking. I want to have a family and all those other things. So I'm just like, all right, dang, like did I miss my opportunity to be married and to be with someone like in a past life or not? Did I like put my career too far ahead, or did I do all these other things and put those more important than, you know, finding a spouse and finding a family? And this is where we at now. But, you know, the Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So I ain't supposed to find nobody. I'm supposed to be, you know,
Exactly.
Because we did have church every day. There was devotional every morning before we went in the pods.
I know. I wanted to say that Ashley always had a devotional for us in the lounge, and I loved it. So I just wanted to say that was.
And we were laughing because he was like, "If there's an orange card," and I meant to look at the season to see. There's this like orange card that I like brought for like thank you cards. I'm really like thoughtful, like thinking out things. It isn't shown and expressed very well, but I was like, I'm not going to bring this whole devotional and Bible with me. So I'm going to handwrite it out. And I think Kaylin was the first person that asked about it. And then I was just like, here, you asked about this. So I was like, I brought my Bible. I'm like, me too, being a little church girl that I am.
Look, we all had them Bibles, girl.
We had them Bibles
every day.
Little did we know we needed it. We needed it.
Yeah.
And I remember like bringing my prayer cards that I prayed over before I came here. Like the church was on a fast because, you know, consecrations in January, we filmed in February. And I remember when I left, I gave them to one of the producers like, hey, like, could you leave this with the girls in life? I left it with Kaylin and then she shared it too. But if there was orange cards, they were not like notes. Those were all devotionals. And little did I know, like those were shared. And Kaylin was like, we had church. Like those are the things that were shared in the pods on the dates as well. It was like the love of Jesus. And if my job was to spread the love of Jesus on this season, then I did my job. So like it took a while for me to get to that point, but it was good. It went well. And I met these ladies, so that was great. These are some really good friends, so it's good today.
I love that. What say you, Megan? How has this affected you going forward?
I think initially when I got back, it was disappointing. I felt slightly defeated just with the outcome, but I kind of had to like bring myself back out of that again and just kind of say, you know, whenever a door shuts, another one opens. So like, I just feel like for me, if things don't work out, God has another plan for me. So I'm just like, keeping it moving, you know, like I love myself. I've been, like I said, I've been single for a really long time. So it's just, you know, I'm just going to keep being single. And I think that was the other point I wanted to make initially in the beginning with your question of like, I took this whole experience very seriously. And I did go into it with the intention to find a husband. But I think I also had another idea in my brain. If it didn't work out, it's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. I'm still confident in myself. I still love myself. I'm not a failure or anything like that. You know, it's going to happen for me when it happens. I'm staying hopeful. I'm staying grateful and grounded. And I've came out of it with these amazing women as my friends. So I think I got some, I won in the sense, like, I feel great about that. So I don't, and I, you know, again, I'm still really good friends with Deo. We, you know, still talk a lot, you know, we still,
I really like
chat.
Deo.
You'll see me.
I really like him a lot. I was so
He's
pissed
the
we
best
didn't see
kind
him.
of human.
They was
He's
calling
amazing.
him Pastor. I say, yeah, Pastor Dale. That's my guy.
We
So
love
he was sharing the
And
love of the Lord too.
Yeah.
Huh?
He was
Exactly.
sharing Jesus too.
No, they were just calling him Pastor Dale online.
Yeah.
Because it's suit.
Oh my God, that suit.
They're wrong for that. But that's my guy.
I know.
And let me say
I just-
this too. Let me just say this too. I know that Michael, you know, he got some flack. I have forgiven him. He's good people. I don't have anything against Michael anymore. Like, we had our little rip and tiff, but quite frankly, like, that part. But no, he and I, we're good. And this was not a come at Michael moment, because quite frankly, we've had our conversation. And like I said, he knows what he wants. And I think that that's okay. Okay with whatever he wants, because we all get to make a decision about what we want and who we're looking for in our lives. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't have anything against him. I just wanted to make sure that the math and everybody carried the one. That's all.
Also, Michael is a Cancer, so I'm a Cancer. If you know Cancer men, Michael definitely gives Cancer guy down. Like, he gives Cancer down. I mean, to wrap things up, well, before we wrap things up, let me say this. What I've loved about sitting down with all of you, even with Kay, even though she left, I loved finding out how you all shared the love of Jesus, like amongst yourselves with each other. I find that to be a very, very beautiful thing. I will say this, like, I love God. I grew up in the church. I used to work at a church. My dating history prior to being with my man right now, I call him Mr. Easter. That's his little jokey nickname. But prior to being with him, I was single for almost 7 years. Okay. Like, it was a long Sam Cooke long time. And it felt like I was in the wilderness for a very long time. I don't even think God sent any manna down. I don't know what was going on. But you know what, too? I think I was making a lot of very embarrassing decisions. I think I was making a lot of decisions based on impulse. I can be very impulsive sometimes. I can be very much like alone for like 2 years, no problem. Then suddenly I would just like meet somebody and just attach myself to them. And then 2-3 months later, I'm like, all right, I was just bored. And then I was gone. Like, it just was very much it was a roller coaster of 7 years. But I will say this, despite me making very, very whack decisions, I was always hopeful. Like, I don't like when people say, oh, love is going to happen when you least expect it. I was always expecting it. Even in my bad decision making, I was always like, January 1st, God gonna send me my husband this year. Like, I don't know why. I just was always hopeful. And I feel like as I continued being single and I started making better decisions and I started being more self-aware and more self-accountable and more hopeful, that's when I met Mr. Easter. And so also, let me say this. I think that being single is not a bad thing. Even if it's like for years, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great time to figure out who you are, what you want, what you value, what you don't value. It's a time to choose yourself. And the fact that you all are women who love the Lord, God is at the center of your lives. I truly feel that God is very mindful of you. Some of you have said things like, it was just God looking out for me. This didn't happen or this didn't work out this way because it was God looking out for me. And it was. None of those men were in your league. Like, y'all were out of these men's league. Please understand that. Like,
Full stop.
Full stop. Like, y'all, every last one of y'all that I spoke to today were out of these men's league. Except Dio. I like Dio. I just think he's young and he's still figuring himself out. But I feel like y'all were out of every one of those men's league. It just wasn't meant to be. And maybe it just was something that you had to go through to experience and to maybe there's a lesson in it and only you and God really know what that lesson truly is. But when I tell y'all, God is very mindful of you. God is very mindful of you. You are his daughter. And so when the time comes, God's going to make sure that you're prepared because the man he's sending you, it is going to be a man that is just as mindful of you the way God is. And I feel like that's what I received. I got someone who's very mindful of me. And that was something I had never experienced before. There was the other day, I try not to talk too much about him because I don't want to be preachy and so, there's a whole having a boyfriend is embarrassing now. But I was having a conversation with him the other day and he said to me, he had a conversation with someone who was married one day and he said that his biggest takeaway from this conversation is to always anticipate your wife. To always anticipate your wife. And in my relationship, he's always anticipating me. Always like a step ahead of me.
I know that.
Before I even ask for something, it's like he knows I was going to ask for, I was going to need that. And I feel like that's so godly. And I think as women who believe in God, that is what you deserve. You deserve a man who's going to anticipate you, going to be mindful of you, going to come into your life and make it better. I used to date and feel like I was always leaving empty, but I was filling up somebody else. You know what I mean? Like that is not the work of God for you. That was going to happen for y'all if y'all ended up with any of these men I saw in this season. Okay. So I truly think God is very mindful of all four of you and things worked out exactly how they were supposed to. It sucks to see that your experience wasn't shown. And me as a Black woman, I'm always like so excited to see the Black women's what's going on. And so I had to reach out to y'all and spend this time with y'all. And I just felt like I just want to tell you that like God is very mindful of you and he's going to make sure he sends you a man that is mindful of you as well. He's going to send you a son, one of his sons that's mindful of his daughter because God don't play about y'all, period. Yeah. I guess to wrap up, what do you guys feel as Black women you need or maybe want more of when it comes to your dating experience?
I personally want someone that's confident and not looking. I should not have to be the one that pursues you. I feel like we're like the Bible says, like we're the ones who's supposed to be pursued, right? Like we hear a lot, I'm the prize, and I'm not here for social media debates, but he said that we're his bride, right? We're the bride of the church, and we're his prize and we're his masterpiece. And yes, like we're supposed to like show interest and want to be with you, but being pursued and you know, approaching you and I don't know, just being courted. Like, yes, I'm gonna tell you that I'm interested in you, and I'm like, yeah, like I'll show interest. Like, yeah, you show interest in me. I'm gonna show interest. Or, hey, I might say, hey, what's up? But also like pursue me, be consistent, be confident of who you are. Like, I feel like I hear so much of like, oh, I shot my shot. I shot. Listen, I barely been hitting the rim. Okay, okay, that's why I'm a sporting. But yeah, like I want to see that. I want to see being pursued more. I want to see consistency. I want to see confidence more in the dating world. Yeah.
Good word.
Like I echo that too, Ash. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think echoing that, just consistency. I think for me, it's more of reciprocation. That's my love language. It's like, you know, if I put in the effort and I, you know, show you loyalty and kindness and everything, I would expect my man to do that. So I feel like that's kind of what's been missing a lot in like this dating realm and like dating apps and things. It just seems like there's not a lot of, you know, that reciprocity and consideration for another human being. It's kind of just like, oh, I'll go someone and like not even tell them and just move right on. And like it, I think that's the part that I'm just not that type of person. So it's like crazy to me that people ghost, and like I don't get it. So those are my big ones for me in finding my person.
And we saw a whole lot of ghosting this season too. My goodness. My God, today. But yeah,
Crazy how many people didn't even like have those final conversations with their pod people. Like you could have, like you didn't have to immediately leave. Like that's the part that was strange to me.
Yeah, it was really mean, to be honest. And it just goes to show, like how you said, it's happening a lot, even in the dating world too. It's like, what? Yeah, that's weird.
I was going to say what you ladies said was actually right on point. So I don't even want to repeat anything that you said, because I think, like you said, God knows exactly what every individual needs, and he knows when it's coming. So I try not to even frustrate myself about that anymore. I don't live in the frustration of, is it going to happen? I'm like, it'll happen when it happens, because it's on God's timing for everything. And he knows exactly when it needs to come. So, but I think the effort is important. The confidence is important. Somebody who's truly following God. But then the other thing that I'll say that I feel like nobody really talks about is everybody talks about doing self-work and going to therapy. And I think I hear therapy come out of a lot of people's mouths. But I want to know that when you're going to therapy, that you're actually actively working on change. We can all go to therapy. I can sit there, talk to somebody for 50 minutes, talk to somebody for 2 hours, and I can leave out of there and go do the same stuff I've been doing. I think when I find the person that tells me like I've done the self-work, that it's going to be a reflection of that. The fruit is going to show. And that's all I'm hoping that I see in the future, is that when you tell me therapy, you actually did the work. You didn't just sit there because it's the new thing to say, I went to therapy. We all saying that. But are we actually, when we go, actively looking to make a better change for ourselves? And so for me, that's what I hope I find too.
Also, like one last thing with us being pretty much boss ladies and someone not being intimidated when they come across someone. Like we've seen that a lot this season. During our season, I know that was a conversation I had with people, was like, hey, like I did not want to date you because you were too strong of a woman. Like I wanted someone who was going to XYZ. We heard Kaylin say it, like we heard, you know, multiple people say, like, one, I'm not here to be your mom. Like that's not my job. But two, at the same time, is are you creating that space for us to be that soft person and be vulnerable and to be able to relax and chill and let you lead the household? So, which is what I was getting at on my little name tag, but it put like I'm an alpha woman, but I'm gonna find some whatever. They put in ChatGPT and say, give me a sentence and a half. But it really is like, hey, like, yes, I know I'm a strong individual and I can come off very strong in XYZ. Because again, we were all 30 plus when we went on the show. I was 33. So again, yeah, I lived by myself and had to handle my own household and do whatever I needed to do by myself for my adult years. So yes, it is going to take someone else that's strong and with vision to lead us. Because again, like, Mel is the head of the household for me. I've seen that model. And my dad's like, we ain't finna have a BS. And my daughter's like, you're not going to be easily impressed by some sparkle or whatever else.
Hello.
So like I look for someone who can leave me. Like I want to be able to just lay this show down because all women are superwomen, but I'm not trying to be one in the household, you know?
Exactly.
Balance is important, you know. I think we have to maintain some softness as well as women. We do. We do need the balance because we've had to be so hard. So I think it's nothing wrong with a little bit of balance and allowing yourself to, because we need that too. I always tell Black women, we need to cry more. So let everybody see us cry. We don't cry enough because nobody
That's
knows
true.
that we're soft because we are so holding it in, and we were taught that. I want you to see me cry. Know that I've got tears too, and my tears are as soft as my counterparts.
Hello. So true. So true. Ladies, I thank y'all. I really, really thank you guys for this.
Oh, Jessie, thank you. Thank you. Honestly, I'm more appreciative to you than you know. I know how much you uplift Black women. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the thanks goes to you because I've seen how you are always lifting us up, always making sure Black women's stories are maintained and told. And we don't get a lot of that, you know? There's not a lot of that going on. You like Oprah 2.0 because you making sure that you checking out for us. And I'm thankful to you and your platform and what you do because it's not easy.
Thank you. No, thank you. I try my best. I try my best. I know what it's like to, just be in the space. And I feel like dating shows just don't do the best job portraying Black women. I just feel like it's something that I kind of just have taken personal. I don't know why. It's just the more I watch it, the more I'm just like, no, this is just not right. It's already so hard for Black women when we're going out there to date, and then I feel like sometimes these dating shows really just add to negative stigmas, but also these dating shows shine a light on things that as Black women that we have to deal with. And so, hence why I have these discussions, and I always want to have these discussions with Black women in mind and with the wellness of Black women in mind. And so I feel really, really honored that you guys decide to spend this time with me. Before we leave, can you please tell everyone how to follow each and every one of you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, Ashley, spelled the normal way, ASHLEY .USERY, pronounced Ursery. My TikTok is like Ashley with a bunch of H's and L and E's. You can find it in my Instagram bio because I can't remember how many H's I put in there. I just kept adding one until they said it's a handle you can have. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, Ashley.Ursery, USERY.
I think it's just easier if you search.
Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was like, I think it's just easier if you search my full name. It's just it's Megs and Bacon, but there's a lot of like letters and numbers in there, so it's very cryptic. So yeah,
I'll have it on the screen too.
Just person. Yes,
I'll have it on the screen and in the description too.
Hey, you guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is funny, but it's @the Black Superwoman _. And that's my Instagram. My TikTok, I want to say, is China.Max. So that's my college nickname is China Max. So that's on my Instagram. Last name is Craig, though, if you're looking for me on Instagram.
Well, I want to thank you guys again, y'all. Thank you guys so much for this conversation. I know that it's definitely going to be insightful for everyone that sees it. To those of you guys who listen to this episode, thank you so, so much. Again, please make sure you're following Jess, A Couple Things podcast on every platform that stream podcasts. Make sure that you subscribe here on YouTube. Take care of yourselves and each other. Ladies, take care of yourselves.
Yes.
And each other. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.